Oh my fucking god. Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. Hey, whoa. We can't be having that right now. Sorry about that. Base actually just wanted to rear his ugly head into this mix, but we have important management money bits to be talking about right now. Plenty to be speaking about as Bitcoin does head down to the short term, or not even the short term, but the high term time frame bottom side range. Maybe a little bit lower than we might currently be, but as the title does state, I actually do think that the bottom is nigh. The bottom is pretty damn near, at least for now. I'm not necessarily calling like a major mega low, but hey, regardless of whether you're super bullish or super fucking bearish, even if you're the biggest goddamn bear in the fucking world right now, you want to see a goddamn bull trap, and that's probably going to come in like the mid or upper $40,000 region. So with that in mind, I do think that we're kind of fighting a bit of a short-term or medium-term bottom going on right now. Can Bitcoin scrape a little bit lower? Of course it can. I see some very interesting people in the chats right now, or at least one interesting person in the chat saying, but Krown, or no, he's just not even saying but Krown. He's saying, if you are intelligent, you buy XLM. Well, actually, I looked at the chart earlier. So still looks like shit. In fact, still looks like shit like everything else in this goddamn market. As always, the whole market is pretty much tethered to Bitcoin, and whatever Bitcoin does, the altcoins are at its displeasure or pleasure, depending upon your disposition within this market. Anyways, with that said, I would like to wish you the best and the happiest on this Sunday morning. I got a good night's sleep last night, so I got fucking energy coming out from all angles of myself right now. My fingers, they're coming out like fucking lightning bolts, and there's actually quite a few things to be talking about right now. Actually, all time frames have interesting things going on here. And not paying lip service to that right now, because I actually do think it's time to be paying attention. You're probably seeing over crypto Twitter, crypto YouTube, crypto Reddit, whatever the fuck, everyone's getting incredibly fucking bearish. And guess what? It's a good time to be bearish like a week ago, but right now, man, after a 50% drop, even if, again, you're the biggest bear of all time, I don't know, man, I'd still be looking for that bull trap. That's exactly where I'd want to be looking for if I do want to put on major, massive short positions. So as always, people late to the party, and at least in my opinion, can we obviously head down from where we're at right now? Yes, and we'll overlay conditions for that. But again, I do think that regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish, Bitcoin probably scrapes out this $33,000 or $32,000 low, and then perhaps if you want to play with the bull trap, well, give it a go in like the mid to upper 40s. What's up, Josh? How you doing, man? Good morning to you, my friend. Good morning to you. Anyways, good. Let's head on over here on the Krown Chain application, which can be found at app.krownchain.net. And what do we see? We see a few new things. Fear and Greed Index coming down to the lows of what we've seen on this run so far at about a 10 read, when Bitcoin is essentially just grinding at its current lows in a very low volatile way, which to me is typically going to be a bouncy bounce type of territory. Not necessarily calling a full reversal on it, but a bouncy bounce nonetheless. Anyways, Bitcoin dominance still hanging around the same level as well, 43.5%, as Bitcoin more or less ranges here. Altcoins got to catch up versus their Bitcoin pairing, but the next time that Bitcoin either breaks above the high term or the high term time frame upside or downside, it's time to get fucking boo-caked once again, and that would be essentially about $32,000 to the downside versus about $42,000 to the upside. And we do see that open interest has actually come down a little bit from yesterday to today. We lost about 150 to 200,000, or sorry, not 200,000, but 200 million, 150 to 200 million positions, that is. So while Bitcoin price action does come down, as we said, was likely yesterday. So what does that imply? It implies that, well, longs are still kind of letting go of their positions and still more or less ranging on the low. So we haven't seen any major decision making just yet. What I really want to see is a break of that high term time frame range. Again, 32 versus about 41, 42 to the upside. And I want to see open interest really shoot up. And when I say shoot up, I mean at least $1 billion. I really want to see like $1 billion added to the books. That's when the market has conviction and we can see, $5,000 to $10,000 rips in that direction. So again, I'd still keep an open heart towards this one, but personally speaking, I do think that Bitcoin will bounce somewhere around this level. In fact, we might be seeing it already right now, as these sort of moves happening over the weekend is actually kind of classic shit. If you do see CME open later today and it opens up on a bounce, like on a mega bounce, on a major gap up, that's going to be pretty damn good, at least for a short-term bottom for the time being. Anyways, top 10 best coins, top 10 worst coins, they're all shit. They're all shit. They're all shit. Looks like shit, smells like shit, tastes like shit. It might be a shit coin, my friend. Actually, we do see a few on the Windows list. MDEX, what the hell is that? Don't know. Doesn't matter. Cello, Celsius, and everything else is pretty much... Cardano's holding its own right there. Hey, not bad. And Polygon actually holding its own as well, which is, I suppose, a win in this current territory. But again, Bitcoin gets to run the market, and Bitcoin gets to be the major decider right here. Anyways, you want to listen to some Datsik? We can listen to some Datsik, man. I actually love Datsik, but apparently he got caught up in some sort of like a rape case or something, so he no longer makes music, and that sucks, man. It's like, look, we gave Michael Jackson a pass. Give fucking Datsik a pass too. I really enjoy that music. It's great. Anyways, looking at our charts over here, what do we see? We do see plenty of things with the funny rate, and also, well, I mean, this chart right here hasn't really changed up all that much. It's a double bottom, bro. No, I don't believe in double bottoms, to be honest with you. I believe in apple bottoms. And what do we see as far as the funny rate goes? This is actually a little bit more on the bear side right here, as we do see all exchanges pretty much with positive rates, except for Dribbit, very slightly negative right there, pretty much inconsequential. And I was actually expecting to see a little bit more on the negative side coming into this one to right here, right now. So unfortunately, that would be another point in the bear's court, but not a conclusive thing in and of itself, as we do see most exchanges kind of right around parity, in fact, with BitMEX, Bybit, Huobi, and Binance all around 0.01. Actually, BitMEX a little bit lower than that. So you're not really paying all that much to hold longs right there. And of course, we did see the reversal on the, of course, Bitcoin dominance chart right here. So following through on that. And I do still think that we will head up significantly more, probably into the deeper 40s, low 50s or so before this is all said and done. And that will come alongside, again, Bitcoin actually breaking the high term time frame range and continuing with trend. Again, that can come to the upside or the downside. And, you know, while it doesn't necessarily imply US dollar valuations, it does imply, it doesn't, well, Bitcoin will imply that, essentially is what I'm trying to say. Is there anything else that I want to talk about right here? Again, open interest is pretty much flat. So, you know, small drop off from yesterday to today as Bitcoin does come down to the bottom side of the range. Again, I look at this as more or less a bouncy signal. Again, I'm not calling like a full on fucking mega reversal. I think that would be just as ridiculous as someone saying Bitcoin's going to like $10,000 exactly from where we're postured right here, right now. No, this market obviously has its ebbs and flows, as all markets do. It's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to really make you second guess yourself. And realistically, I really want to harp on this fucking point a million goddamn times. Look, if you're the biggest bear in the world right now, they're probably looking for a bull trap to sell into. You're not, like, we haven't really seen a very obvious one just yet. Anyways, let's go into the put call market over here. And what do you know? Oh, Jesus, motherfucker, you goddamn options piece of shit. fucking options gamblers. Well, actually, you know what this looks like right here? This is starting to be a little bit more damning towards the downside. Now, this is not any like huge open interest, and just forget the max pain bullshit right here. People have been ruining this fucking meme to the ground. It's so unfortunate that everything good within this market becomes a meme. There's no max pain at this part at this area right here. That's ridiculous. Fucking absolutely ridiculous. People thought that there was going to be, it's a max pain at $50,000, so Bitcoin's going to rally up to 50,000 on Friday. No, shut the fuck up. That's ridiculous. Sorry, I don't mean to tell you to shut the fuck up, but shut the fuck up about that goddamn idea. It's ridiculous. Have you even thought about this at all? Anyways, pip call ratio is massively in favor of calls right now, so people are playing playing long calls. I imagine that these are very unlikely naked, so if you are going to be long calls at $38,000, $39,000, $40,000 strike, those are covers, and that actually makes a lot of sense given the current range as basically, you know, 40 to 41, or I'd say like 40 to 42 is kind of like my breakout to the upside region. So, you know, adding on the premium from these, which I imagine is, you know, a couple $1,000, they're probably looking for covers around those regions, which makes sense. And I mean, 38 to 39,000 bucks is around that last lower term time frame high for Bitcoin as well. So overall, this is suggesting that people are kind of angling their positions downwards, but it does still kind of align with a bit of a bounce in the short term, perhaps. Anyways, I really would question anyone who's like actually buying premium straight up right now too, with volatility being as fucking high as it is. But hey, you know, that's how people look at options. They look at them like fucking lottery tickets, not as hedging tools as you probably should be. Anyways, big open interest again on the June regulars right here. All their strikes are pretty much inconsequential right now. So I imagine we probably do see a major move around the end of this month. Now, I do want to bring up a couple really interesting things here to kind of start this one off. Now, one of our community members, Mr. JD, John Doe, great guy. He's actually created a reverse function for the hash ribbons indicator. So I've been referencing this indicator for weeks or months now. I mean, I've been talking about this one for like years realistically, but overall, he's actually gone through and he's been able to essentially make a forecasting tool for it. So we can actually identify it when the next blue dot will actually be populated right here. And that was one of the major criterias that I was postulating in, you know, in my past videos for looking for the major lows, of which we've still not seen anything. We've still not seen not even fucking one of them, not even fucking one, well, kind of half of one of them, I'd say, to kind of denote, you know, major lows here. So again, I want to be very directly clear with that. But if we're looking at this right here, what do we see? We do see that we have that capitulation signal. We have the solid green right here, but now we're looking for that blue signal. And with this reverse function, it actually is going to project a blue signal in the next 4.5 days, essentially. So that would be, you know, around the end of this next coming week, I imagine. So with that in mind, that's actually pretty good, especially considering that Bitcoin is right around, you know, a major area right here. So overall, I do think that Bitcoin, you know, can very easily grind this area out. We can get a few more wicks down, even to like 32 or 33,000 bucks. But assuming there's no daily closure closures below 32,000 bucks, I do look at this as incredibly likely to give that next major bounce. And that next major bounce obviously can be that bull trap. So I'm not saying that Bitcoin's out of the woods here. I need to be very fucking deliberately clear with what I say. But ultimately, you know, everything's beat to shit right here. So it really wouldn't be asking too much to get a decent, you know, somewhat of a decent bounce. We see daily MACD. I mean, it's just, I mean, we've seen the equal and opposite move to the other side right here, which is typically going to be a greater bounce as well. I still think that we're kind of in the midst of that. If we look at this right here, negative 52 versus 53 right, or 50, yeah, just under 53 right there. I mean, that's classic shit. So I would be looking for a little bit of, you know, a little bit of reversion there. Anyways, on top of that, we do see a couple other things that I wanted to call out right here too. I'll just kind of briefly go through what I spoke about yesterday, but I won't go through the full examples on it. You can definitely check out yesterday's video in the long-term analysis playlist. It's actually a little more streamlined for that information to make it, you know, nice and well documented. Looking at it right here on the daily, the other big thing that I'm looking for in order to, you know, start to, you know, potentially look for like a, you know, major bounce on Bitcoin, or even, you know, or potentially a major, you know, macro low. It's certainly still have that possibility within it, would be the daily BBWP over here, which, by the way, and credit to Caretaker on this one, you know, our community is fucking awesome, man. We got pretty much all community driven indicators nowadays. It's fucking great. I fucking love this place. Anyways, looking at this right here, we are starting to see, or we've seen this one's multifaceted actually. So first things first, we want to see it get to 100 percentile. Obviously, it's a volatility based indicator. So when we see it get to 100 percentile, that's telling us that we're at extremes, similar to what we saw, you know, maybe back on over in coronavirus dump times, for example, the last time that we had like a mega massive downside move. Same thing over here, right? Anyways, the next two pieces of it, I do think are a little bit more important actually, of which we've got two of the three pieces, to be fair. The second piece would be actually crossing the moving average on this. That is not conclusive in and of itself. That doesn't really give us actually all that much. What gives us a lot, however, is the moving average slope, which right now is starting to curl down as of yesterday night's closure. So I imagine that as long as Bitcoin does continue to, you know, contract a bit, you know, volatility speaking wise here, I would be looking for that to obviously come down. And if that comes down, I'd be on higher low watch for Bitcoin, or at least giving Bitcoin a chance here. Again, can we get another wick, you know, another couple wicks down to like 32 or 33? Yeah, no problem. No fucking problem. I certainly wouldn't put that out of the, you know, out of the equation right now. However, until Bitcoin closes a daily below 32,000 bucks, or you know, or a weekly below 32. So I mean, obviously the daily is going to happen, you know, sooner than the weekly. I really do think that Bitcoin does try another bounce from this region right here. Keep in mind though, we still got lower lows and lower highs the whole way through. Bitcoin has no fucking possibility of making an uptrend anytime soon. Like, not even close. We don't even have a fucking higher low just yet. Could we put in one right here? I mean, just barely, but this is not how you want to see your higher lows. I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin actually closes on new lows, in fact, somewhere around 32 or 33,000 bucks, and then actually tries for a little bit of a, you know, a little bit of an upside move. But looking at it right here, again, this signal right here in conjunction with the hash ribbons, and in conjunction with what we see back on the last like relevant signal that we've seen for this, whenever we do see the moving average start to get a massively negative slope after hitting 100 percentile on, you know, pretty extreme moves, well, that actually is when Bitcoin did put in its higher low on this run right here. Pretty fucking impressive stuff right there. So overall, I do think that in conjunction with the hash ribbon signal, you know, is starting to give a little bit of life, at least for a bit of a bouncy bounce right here. Again, everyone's really fucking bearish right now. I mean, obviously not everyone's bearish, but like most, you know, the majority of this market is bearish, as, you know, as the fear and greed index does indicate. And I think just, you know, perusing through crypto Twitter right now is like, is like pretty indicative of that. And, you know, to be fair, I mean, like obviously Bitcoin came down like 50-60%, you know, it's that is pretty nasty, right? But people are, you know, we've been so spoiled with these just complete like massive upside moves that people have forgotten that things can, you know, range, go down and board the shit out of you, and in fact it will. Anyways, the other thing that I wanted to bring up here too was a BLX index on this chart, the Bitcoin log curves, which we'll pull out all the way to the genesis here. And again, I really do think that Bitcoin's doing something over here very similar to what we saw in 2013, or at least this would be the bullish view right now. So I do want to represent both sides. Again, while I am postulating a bounce, you know, from this region over the next couple days, very, very likely, you know, can Bitcoin break down? Yes, and 25 and then 20,000 bucks are going to be the targets, obviously. But on the other side, I actually do think Bitcoin's more likely to bounce, and perhaps we're doing something relatively similar to this over here, where Bitcoin did rally up, you know, pretty significantly from the prior lows to the next major high, was about a 1,200% rally. I mean, that's very similar to what we did over here as well, about prior lows to next major high. Sorry, our prior lows all the way over here on coronavirus dump times. That's right. All right, there we go. There's about 1,100, about 1,100%. to the upside, so rather comparable, and then it bases within this yellow zone right here. And during that time, it takes from high in April 2013 all the way to momentous move in October 2013. I mean, April, May, June, July, September, August is in there somewhere. It was like 7-8 months. It was some time, and I think that that's what Bitcoin is doing here as well. The more time that Bitcoin essentially trades size, above this $30,000 pivot or $32,000 pivot, the more and more likely it does put in a base. But we're literally on like the second fucking week of testing this region, so it's still much too early to be giving it a legitimate, analysis from that perspective. But it's in the cards, I suppose. It hasn't been negated just yet. So while I have spoken about a couple of a few things there. Of course, daily trend, which is the most important thing for me overall, is not going to be changing anytime soon. And in fact, as long as Bitcoin's below $41,000 right here, there's really no talk of like any major bounce going on. Now, with that said, if Bitcoin does tick above the range highs thus far, which I would even be looking at $41,000 as kind of being the major area, the major line in the sand for this region right here, then I would be looking at that, very likely to spun off another, another like $5,000 rip perhaps, as we did postulate over here. That would be right around the 0.5 in the 618 Fibonacci bearish retracements. That's where your fucking bull trap comes in around, extremely likely. So that's, that would be my major bearish view, is Bitcoin probably bounces from somewhere over here, bounces all the way up here. Everyone gets super fucking bullish again. Hey guys, Dogecoin's going back to 50 cents or some bullshit. And it's all good. It's all fucking good. And then what happens after that? Oh fuck, just cue the oh fuck soundboard with Lexington Steel on the side. Anyways, what I want to do now is I want to mark this area off. Been speaking about this for a long time now, and I think we should just thrust that in there and keep an eye on it, for the times to come. But ultimately, I do think Bitcoin puts in a little bit more time within this region. And keep in mind, we do still have downtrends on pretty much every time frame as it is right now. 4-hour does have a higher low. Hey, not bad, not bad. Or actually, not really. Actually, it doesn't really have a higher low now that I look at it. In fact, it definitely does not have a higher low. But maybe the 12-hour does have one in progress here. Not really, actually. Jesus Christ, powerfully red here. Anyways, looking at the 4-hour right now. Do we see anything that is somewhat good going on for Bitcoin? 4-hour RSI is rejecting the bearish control zone as it stands right now, but that is not a conclusive rejection. In fact, I'd want to go over to these charts over here and credit Mr. Caretaker for this one again as well, the STC. But let's see what momentum's looking like on these shorter term timeframes. Yeah, 4 hours going to be popping up as long as we close this next 4-hour delta above 369 and a quarter. That's looking, well, $1,000 away from that right now. And how much more time do we have to go? 2.5 hours. All right, so that's no promises there. What about the 3-hour? Got 32 minutes left to go, so we'll probably be able to see this one by closure. And the magical number right here is 33,900. Bi-hourly is what? 33,800. I think closing in the same time frame as well. So 31 minutes. We're going to get the hourly, 2-hour, 3-hour closure. Maybe even the 6-hour too. Yeah, we get the 6-hour as well. In the 6-hour, the 6-hour actually is rather interesting right here. Yeah, it's actually rather interesting right here. I could look at this as a higher low potentially, and we will see momentum turn up here as well. And just, for shits and giggles, the hourly right here, $34,000, the magical number for what it's worth right now. So I do think that Bitcoin's mounting a bounce from this region overall. And again, can it rally up all the way to like $38,000 or $39,000 easily? Yeah, I mean, it certainly can here. I mean, but the problem is with the shorter term timeframes, that's still another fucking lower high. It's brutal, man. It's fucking brutal. I didn't tell you that you're gonna like what I would say today, but as long as we're below the 39,000 or especially $40,000 pivot, it is still just lower highs. So I do put a lot of weight on this. Obviously, trend first as always, or at least as my mentor would always tell me, and just fucking wreck my mind with. But ultimately, I do think that Bitcoin's going to have a chance here, or at least I'd give Bitcoin the chance here. Again, as long as the daily does not, smash down below about $32,000 on a closure, or maybe even a 12-hour. If we're doing a 12-hour, maybe we make it like 31,000 or something. But ultimately, things, I definitely don't want to make it seem like things are like, all fucking sunshine and rainbows. But there are a few things, populate themselves. So the big ones for me, again, are going to be, volatility. So BBWP, the 3 facets of that, of which we have 2 of 3. Hash ribbons, which potentially could give us that blue buy signal on the next in the next 4.5 days, and then if we start to see short-term momentum start to turn up, well, at least I'd be looking for a bounce back up to the upper $30,000 region. For right now, on the 12-hour, do we have a jewel buy signal potentially swinging back around? Maybe. Maybe, but probably not. Maybe, probably not, though. 10 hours says no. 10 hours says go fuck yourself. 6 hours says definitely go fuck yourself. And 4 hours says definitely go fist yourself too, sir. All right, so well, we'll just discount that for the time being. But ultimately, I do think that Bitcoin gets a bounce here. And then the question is, does Bitcoin put in another lower high below $40,000 or not? If it is able to take out $41,000, just the high this wick right here, I would be looking at this at the very least likely to get a markup again, another $5,000, maybe $7,000 rip into the mid to upper $40,000 region. Now remember, if you are bullish, you're looking for something like this right here. We did have a Wyckoff distribution top, so traditionally speaking, you're going to be looking for an accumulation bottom, which typically takes about the same time, and we did take about 3-4 months on the top. So this happening in the next couple of weeks, or we've only really been on the weeks for, or sorry, we've really only been on the lows for a couple of weeks now, would not be honestly a good signal to be just completely straightforwards. I want to see it at least take like a month or two, like end of June would be okay, but goddamn, man, if the sooner that this happens, the more and more likely that any sort of move, into the mid or deeper $40,000 territory would actually be a bull trap. But for right now, if you are bullish, we got something like this going on, and I do think that it follows this rather well. It doesn't need to be exact. Everyone's trying to like fit a fucking Wyckoff schematic exactly on a price action. That is exactly the wrong way to be doing it. What you're looking for is you're looking for the general gist of it. And right now we'd be coming into phase C right here. So the question is, do we get, a bit of a spring lower? Does it come around the lows? You can sometimes see it on a higher low as well. All of those work. I've seen all of them, specifically in Bitcoin as well. You can even go back to 2019 to get a pretty good example of one that actually put in a higher low for what would have been your spring before that next sort of markup. And it, typically does chop around there as well. So it's got to make you second guess yourself. It's got to make you, it's really got to test people on the lows. Like the whole purpose of this piece of the market cycle is to make people not long. You want to make people to think that it's going to break down. And again, this could very easily break down. Don't get me wrong, but I do think even if it is going to break down, probably take some time here. And again, $32,000 is kind of my line in the sand. If I'm looking at a daily, maybe I do move that down to 30,500 versus like a weekly $32,000. If I want to be super exact, I'd say that, but I don't know, man. Looking at a daily below 32, it does start to look like it'd want some actual follow through. But technically speaking, if you want to go buy the book, it'd be a weekly below whatever this low is right here. That would be 32 and some odd change, so about $32,000, just above $32,000 on a daily. Technically speaking, I guess it'd be more like about just below $31,000 right here, I'd say. Now I do want to present something pretty damn bearish on the other side too. Hey, we're not getting out of this fucking without any red dildo talk. That's exactly because, well, personally speaking, actually would rather trade a bear market than a bull market because it's just, well, it's more fun. There's more opportunity, but well, we'll not talk about that here because people really don't like that. People take it very personally too. Hey man, it's just trading. That's all it is. Just trading. It's just trading. Why you have to be mad? It's only trading. If you know what I'm talking about, you probably play hockey. I don't play hockey, but I do like memes. Anyways, looking at this right here, we do have a pretty nasty thing coming in line, which will inevitably happen actually. It's not going away. In fact, it's definitely not going away right here. What is it? It would be the 21 crossing it'd be this yellow 21 exponential average crossing the downside of the 200 exponential average, while they both have a negative slope, and they both do right now. The 200 is a little bit more flat, to be fair. But overall, when was the last time that we saw something like this? Well, I can give you a few examples. Even the bad ones actually work out pretty well. Here's one. This was right before coronavirus dump times. That was a clean 50% in your fucking face, all the way down. Yeah, about all the way from about $8,000 to $4,000. Not bad. Just kiss all your money goodbye. We had an example over here where this one crosses to the downside before this nice move, which was about 25% to the downside, and obviously got continuation over time too. Pretty fucking nasty there. And then before that, where was our last one? You probably don't want to know. Look away, Bulas. Look away right now. I'm telling you right now, look away, look away, look away. Okay? If you only like it when I say bullshit, just look away right fucking now. All right? There's your warning. Okay, it's right here. All right, so go fuck yourself, bulls. And this is exactly what I'm talking about right here. In fact, very fucking similar to what we're seeing right now. 200 simple, rising above. And, yes, things actually do get a nice, a rally into it, although it is a rejection, of course. And then what do we have right here? The 21 and 200 exponential average crossing the downside, both negative slopes, both after basically a failed bounce attempt right here. And this one did produce almost an immediate 30% downside move. And then realistically, I mean, it took quite some time for the market to unfuck itself after that. I'm actually curious if we got the same thing in 2015 as well, or 2014 as well. Actually haven't backtested this all the way back there, but oh, what do you know? Of course we did. Of fucking course we did. Right here. There's your go fuck yourself moment. So ultimately, that's certainly not a good thing. It's technically not confirmed right now, but this looks like it's unless a Bitcoin rallies up about $10,000 today, it will inevitably happen no matter what on this next closure. It looks like. In fact, we can actually look at the crossover levels because we got Caretaker making this indicator as well. All right, let's see. I want to look at the cross between the 21 and the 200. So we'll do. Let's make it this one right here. Actually, no. We'll make it this one right here. All right, so 21 is going to be my MA5. Versus my 200, that's my MA8. Let's see what this shows. Okay, 34. Okay, actually no, it won't happen tonight. Oh sweet. Oh man, I'm so glad you made this, Caretaker, because this is actually really useful right now. Okay, so technically speaking, we actually will avert it tonight with any sort of a closure above 34,570, but that doesn't mean we're out of the woods just yet. It will naturally move up after that, which means that Bitcoin really needs to like put in a low pretty much here. Otherwise, enjoy the red dildo party. Overall. And again, a lot of those did even get a nice bounce after that, just as I've been saying. But that bounce was ultimately sell, and that's pretty much how I'd be looking at it too. If Bitcoin does say confirm that cross and then bounces up into the mid or upper $40,000 region, I'd be looking at that as as very likely sell liquidity. Anyways, okay, sweet. I think it's time for me to get onto the comments here. I think I've spoken my head off so far. There's one other thing that's relevant, but it's not relevant tonight. It's going to be relevant tomorrow night on the monthly closure, and that's going to be the accumulation distribution indicator right here. And this one is currently just about flat. I mean, it doesn't really change intra-month, but overall, my point is with this is that if we do get a negative slope on this, I would be looking for Bitcoin to go ultimately lower. I would be looking for Bitcoin to take a lot of time, put in the next base, at least another 3-4 months most likely, and probably comes down somewhere around low $20,000 region, maybe lower over time. And there's several things on the monthly right here, which is obviously a very powerful time frame that look really fucking bad actually. Monthly MACD letting go of its momentum there for the first time since this run really started. Actually more than half a year ago now, and we do see that SMI is turning down as well, and will continue to turn down as you can see, as long as below 48,230. So again, Caretaker, thank you for that, but man, Bulaw's probably not going to like that one. And then the ADX DMI is going for, I mean, this technically would be a bullish reset right now, but keep in mind that just keep in mind, we've actually never even really seen a dominant DMI minus signal alongside a powerful ADX. That would really be something. That's at the point where this market really probably truly is over and Bitcoin comes down maybe below $10,000. I don't necessarily think that that's happening, but I'll leave you off with one last bearish thing. Probably the most damning thing that I can come up with at this exact moment right here, and it'd be this, what we talked about yesterday, which is the bi-weekly MACD, which is getting its first cross to the downside, which will inevitably be happening with any sort of a closure later tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time. This one is closing tonight, fucking night. This will be decided as long as we're below about 42,186. This will inevitably cross to the downside, and every fucking time in history, in Bitcoin's history, every goddamn time that we have crossed the bi-weekly MACD, both the upside and the downside, those have been all of your major market pivots. We can talk about the last time I crossed the upside. See, hey, bulls, you get some right here, but that was all the way back in May 2020, and that was when Bitcoin was about $8,600. So I think it's relevant to say that might have already played out. We got a cross down in October 2019. That was on your failed China rally right here. And if you remember, when we were looking at the daily on that 21 and 200 cross, that's exactly actually where that point happened. Just saying. Anyways, and it was also a bounce off the 200 simple year too, which is, I think, rather interesting as well. Anyways, move it a little bit further back than that, we do see across the upside right here. This was on your $4,000 to $14,000 rally, very impressive. And then, of course, across the downside on yet again another bull trap, a failed rally attempt right there. Ultimately, while I am talking about Bitcoin putting in maybe a short-term bottom right here, I do think that it'd be very incomplete of me not to say that, hey, the first interpretation of this is going to be a bull trap, and the first interpretation of that is going to be that it very likely gets sold into, even if Bitcoin gets into the mid or upper $40,000 region. So take that as you will. I mean, people will be looking at it like that. I know that and believe me, you're going to see everyone get really fucking excited if and when Bitcoin does take out $41,000 to the upside. However, right now, as you can see, when everyone's fucking very fearful on the lows, I mean, it's usually a pretty damn good counter indicator right there. Sometimes it's just good counter indicator that I'm even fucking talking about it, which, you know, I'm very capable of making terrible calls as well myself. But I think I've overlaid all of the conditions that I'd be looking for here. Hopefully this is of some use, of some help to you out there making your own decisions based off your own strategies and analysis. But of course, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Now we can get on to some comments over here. Anyways, a Saturn epoch. What's up, man? Saturn in the sky is showing its speed, the stronger its influence to Earth vibrations, basic astronomy. Now for astrology, it means that we need to be more cautious about market. Moons are real. Check link USDT, maybe link moons because it's literally Saturn hexagon. All right. Look, I'm just reading the comments here. I don't know if I... It's like on one side, I want to be like, are you fucking crazy, man? You're talking about you're basing your trades off the goddamn moon cycle. And then I look at the results and I'm like, fuck, this might actually work. Fuck all this TA bullshit. I'm going into astrology now. It's like, all right. I mean, if you can show me results, that's good enough for me. Anyways, Link in very dire straits here. About to get a death cross on the 12-hour, by the way. Maybe not exactly right now, but anyways, you want to look at Link USDT. Okay, so it is based off the 200 simple right now, but are we seeing any signs of short-term bottoming? Not really in its current posturing. The best argument for a bottom in basically anything right now is if Bitcoin tries a rally here. As it stands right now, is this giving me much to go off of here? No, it's a Jesus toast is what it is. It's a nothing. We definitely put out that bearish evidence right there, I'd say. The question is now, what does Bitcoin do? Could we be building hidden bullish evidence on the other side? It's possible, yes. Our last higher low was way the fuck back on over here. So obviously this would be hidden bullish evidence. But the only way that this gets confirmed as hidden bullish evidence is if, one, we close something, like this, or just above the 55 in this case. Actually, you would technically have an inverted hammer dildo. And then two, next week we trade above the high of this current week's high, which is all the way at 35 and in 3/4 about. So until that happens, no confirmed reversal on this one, and it's a lot of risk. And to me, this actually does look like a bull trap right here, to be fair. I'm curious what if this came up to any like major retracement level, just out of curiosity here. Okay, it came up to the 382. That's a pretty weak one if it is going to happen. If we use the wicks, then that would be just the 0.5. None of the 0.5, you do sometimes see bull traps coming around, but realistically, you really want to see like the 618. That's like the classic obvious level. So for right now, I don't really think that there's going to be too much to be gained from looking at this on its own. Maybe we'll see something in the lower term timeframes that's interesting. I mean, we see a little. We're getting some phantom hidden div right here. It looks like, so maybe it has a little bit of a short-term move up to like 2785 region, but ultimately again, looking at this one, you're in downtrends on all time frames basically, as long as you're below that $35 pivot. I mean, this is just continuation downside move. You get your high right there. This is a little short-term consolidation. It's not a high nor a low, it's just continuation, and then this would be your low. So do we have a higher low potentially in place? I mean, where's our last low? Our last low is maybe over here, kind of, or maybe over here. I don't really have a strong opinion. This one's very much unclear to me, to be honest with you. Honestly, though, when I look at the higher term timeframes, I do not like it. I do think that this one could very easily come down to $20, like very fucking easily. It really depends on what Bitcoin's going to do here. 3-day actually does look like a bull trap, to be fair. That actually does look like a bull trap. Again, though, I would be looking at, I certainly would be looking at Bitcoin for overall direction. I want to see Bitcoin make the actual moves. I'll turn on the alerts right now. Doug says, Mercury went into retrograde Saturday. What the fuck does this even mean? It's like, Mercury went into retrograde on Saturday, so we all know what this means now. It's like, I don't know. I actually saw this girl who's like doing astrology on Twitter, of all places. Very interesting girl. Very fucking interesting girl. So, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe she's onto something, but I'd like to see her results. That's what I'd like to see. Look, I'm open-minded, man. I'm very open-minded about things. But if you can show me results, I will believe you. I will believe you can show me unequivocal, unavoidable, and unconfrontational results, basically. Where would you short, in your opinion? I mean, I think that you can probably figure that out if you've been listening at all to this video. Maybe in the bull trap region that we spoke about earlier. I don't know. Maybe in that region that's massively highlighted here for a bull trap. I don't know. Maybe we get a high right around the 382 as well, like 44,200. Could happen there. Could very well happen there. But anywhere in the mid to upper 40,000s bucks is kind of where I'd be looking towards. Hey, what's up, Shahar? Good morning to you, man. Good morning to you. Hambone says morning XRP USD 4-hour and daily. All right, let's check it out. 87 cents, not my ripples. Based off the 200 exponential average right here, very similar to Bitcoin. It's weak as fuck. It's certainly weak as fuck right now, but does it get a pity bounce off this region? I happen to think that it's going to do whatever Bitcoin does, and I think that Bitcoin likely does as well. Looking at the 4-hour short-term time frames, which is what you asked for, I'd be looking for a little bit of an extension up to the 21 here, 90 cents short-term. We do see some signals turning around for our RSI rejecting the bearish control zone, for our TSI turning up as well. Typically like that, at least for short-term continuation. Obviously, you got this downtrend coming in from basically your 105 high, right? Something like that. So as long as you're below there, it's still all risk in my opinion. But at least a little bit of a short-term move to the upside right there. And hey, if it takes that area out, or not necessarily the 21 in this case, but I'd really want to see take out this area right here, about just under 93 cents. What is it exactly? It is about, it's actually just under 93 cents. In fact, I'd be looking for an extension to almost $1, about 98 cents, give or take, about half a cent right there. And then again, similar to Bitcoin, like above 41,000 bucks, that would be this area right here. So, and that would be applying to like the higher term timeframes, obviously. And if it takes out that area, does it try bounce up towards one and a quarter? Perhaps yes. But until it does that, man, it's still massively risky. Like all these things are massively risky, and whichever direction Bitcoin decides here, the market will move on that, as as anyone who's been here for a little bit of time already knows. Let me turn down the sound a little bit. Jesus Christ, man, that is loud as fuck. God damn. Hey, Mr. Armand, what's up, man? Thanks, Krown, sir. Hey, no problem, man. If Bitcoin reaches a range high before tumbling, how high would Ethereum reach at that time? Oh, this is a really good question, actually. Okay, so let's go look at Ethereum here. 2367. So we're basically making an assumption here that Bitcoin does try for a bit of a short-term rally, and where would the relevant points on Ethereum be? Well, right now we're at like a very short-term one. I don't think it stops right here, to be honest with you. Regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish, I think that this one will trade back up to like just under 2,500 bucks. But the similar that would be like the extremely short term. Here's your last little pivot point, just around 2520-ish region. If it takes out that area, I'd look for a run towards the top side. Still putting in lower highs below about 2,800 bucks, but similar to Bitcoin at around, what was it, $41,000. That same level on Ethereum, which is actually a little bit more obvious on Ethereum too. In fact, we can just mark it off with this going all the way back to this little. Jesus, do I want to delete some of these? I mean, all of these are still relevant. We can get rid of this one though, because that one's probably not gonna be too relevant for today. But looking at this one right here, this would be the same level, 2,900 bucks. And if 2,900 bucks does get taken out, and then we do go for potentially a bull trap, where would I be looking for on Ethereum? Well, let's take a let's take a retracement of this, and I'd be looking somewhere between about 31.5 and 34.5 region. We could do something like that, and that's going to correlate pretty damn well with this little consolidation right here. So I'd be very defensive within this region right here. Again, that's only assuming that Bitcoin takes out 41,000 to the upside. Until that happens, everything's risky. Everything's everything technically is in downtrends on pretty much all time frames that matter. But personally speaking, I do think that we're at least going to test the top side of the of this range here. So for Ethereum, that'd probably be somewhere around like 27 or 2,800 bucks. And well, then hold your breath for bull Jesus, my friend. Josh says, Ethereum, Bitcoin 3-day and weekly. Oh yeah, let's check that one out. That one's actually very interesting too. Holding itself up rather well. In fact, would you be calling this a higher low? Maybe we have one potentially in line on the daily. Nah, not yet. This one kind of looks to me like let's come down to 6 million satoshis again. Again, if Bitcoin breaks the range, I imagine this one will come back down to 6 million satoshis. But looking at the weekly right here, this is still macro good. I have no problems with this one long term. In fact, long term, I think that this one still trades back up to the prior highs. In fact, probably going to take some time, obviously, but you're looking at the 3-day and the weekly. What's a 3-day looking like? 3-day is very interesting here too. Technically speaking, it is more downside angled. Yeah, just around 6 million satoshis is kind of where I'd be looking for on the next base, but coming back down there is not problematic. What would be problematic for this one long term, Josh, would be like a weekly below, let's call it actually more like 5.2 million satoshis. Anywhere between there is kind of fair game, because this one did have the macro breakout, and I put a lot of weight on that. I do have a high level of respect for that. It's just this area right here is what I'm talking about, basically around the 200 simple, although that is a little bit lower than it right now. Which we can even get rid of some of these lower levels here because they're just they're just a distraction at this point, too far away. Or something like this actually is still relevant too. So fair enough. We'll keep that one there for now. But yeah, weekly and 3-day. Yeah, again, I could very easily see a range right here down to about 6 million satoshis. But ultimately, I actually do give this one the benefit of the doubt, and I do like it. And again, all higher term timeframes are still very much bullish for what it's worth right now. Again, this one can actually go up even if Bitcoin or Ethereum do go down. This one's obviously a relationship between Bitcoin USD and Ethereum USD. So if Ethereum USD goes down slightly less aggressively than Bitcoin, which typically is not the case actually, but if it were to, then we'd see the ratio go up as well. So it's not going to get your US dollar valuations properly, but still I think relevant nonetheless. But looking at the daily, I do think that it makes another downside move first, and then you have a pretty obvious medium-term time frame range, and that's going to be, I probably already have this in actually. Let's see. Yeah, that's going to be between this area right here, 7.3 million satoshis versus the downside at 6 million satoshis. So anything between there, I don't really have anything new to say about it. It's just kind of baking above here, bullish again, or it's not necessarily bullish again, it's just looking for continuation again to the downside right here. That's when, I start to prepare for a 5.2 million satoshi move. And then hold your breath at that one, because that's actually the really, really bad area if that one breaks. But for now, you give it a chance. It has had a pretty nice run and deserves a little bit of respect, I do believe. Anyways, let me just make sure that I didn't miss any of the comments right here. Mercury in retrograde. Okay, Mr. Fi, I missed this one. Zur, if I was manipulating the markets and everyone is talking about Wyckoff, well, is everyone talking about Wyckoff is the real question. Why would I follow the pattern other than to shish kebab bungholes? Because it still works. That's the thing. Like people, it would be the same question as why do people logically know about XYZ, but when XYZ happens, they don't take action on that? It's because we're mostly run by our emotions. We're not run by our our logical levels. So when people start seeing Bitcoin breaking on new lows, in this case right here, it's like you have to be bearish, because that actually is what you should be doing. Like it's a continuation of trend. So it's that's the way that it's designed, and that's also why I say it doesn't need to come exactly like that. So people who are looking for it to fit like 1-to-1 and they're playing something like that, they're going to be wrong, or they're very likely to be wrong, because very rarely do I actually see it go 1-to-1 like that. A lot of the time I see it either on a slightly higher low or on the same low, actually. That's what I typically see on those. But you do bring up a good point. Like when everyone's kind of talking about the same thing, then what do you typically expect to happen? The other thing, well, what's everyone talking about right now? Well, according to the Fear and Greed Index, everyone's talking about downside. So it's a difficult thing to kind of measure. That's my point. It's a difficult thing to kind of measure because we're all stuck within our own echo chambers, right? And everyone, what do people always say? Everyone's bearish right now, so I'm bullish. It's like, okay, really? Everyone's fucking bearish right now? Because on most exchanges, it's peer-to-peer. And so that means that, well, if someone took a fucking short on you, then someone else took a long. So maybe they're not as bearish as you might think. Like, no, they're wrong, I'm right. It's like, no, everyone wants to feel very special like that, right? It's like everyone's thinking this way, so I'm going to think the other way. Like, you're not a fucking contrarian. You're not special. You're not a fucking snowflake. I'm not saying that to you personally, but just in general, right? And honestly, a lot of these sentimental-based indicators, I think, are just garbage to begin with. Like we saw, going back over here to the Fear and Greed Index, we saw on the upside, the greed reads in the 80s to 90s for weeks on end, even months on end, it seemed like. So, these are relevant things, but they're not primary things. They're certainly not primary things to me. What's up, the Pale Singer? Hey, Krown, could you look at KSM? Would be much appreciated. Okay, KSM. ASM, I'm guessing it's crypto. It is crypto. All right, there we go on Binance. Very similar stuff going on right here too. Very similar stuff. I would pretty much have the same thing to say about this as I do most of the other ones. I do think that it tries for a bounce off the 200 exponential average. It's kind of already based off there last night. It looks like at 255 region. Lower highs as long as you're below about 350. So again, I'd watch Bitcoin for direction right now. You give me a time frame on that? You did not give me a time frame on that. Let's see if there's anything of interest on the 4-hour here. 4-hour RSI is kind of giving you a little bit of hope. 4-hour TSI perhaps turning up with the next closure above 291. So yeah, it's actually yes. I'd probably be looking for a short-term move up to about 330-ish region. And do we have higher lows on a 12-hour? Yeah, actually we would have higher lows on a 12-hour. So very interesting right here. This one could very easily rally up to about 330, 350-ish region. And then the big area is 350. If it can trade above 350. or whatever this wick high right here. Oh, that's 373. So either 12-hour closure above 350 or a wick higher than that. I'd be looking to extend this run all the way up to this level here, like 450-ish region, and maybe beyond. This does start to, I mean, I actually do think that this is starting to look a lot more like accumulation on the lows. You see this volume right here. You see the waning volume to the downside right here. It's like, look, again, I could be extremely fucking bearish on this, but I am looking for a bull trap if I'm going to get super fucking bearish on this market. And targets are going to be devastating. They're going to be down to not just 25,000 bucks. They're going to be like 20,000 bucks overall. Like, make no mistake about it. That is a very real possibility. But at least for right now, you know, I want to see that first before I get like super gung ho bearish. And what do you know? All those levels correlate with these levels right here. So that's actually really excellent to see. But for right now, let's see if the 12 hour is going to be turning up. Any sort of a closure above 306 would be kind of like the next line in the sand for me. If you get that at the end of this next 12-hour closure, I'd be looking for this one to trade up towards about 330ish region, maybe 350, and then, you know, see what it does around here. I can't foresee the future. I don't have a crystal ball, but around this region, that's where I'd be looking for actual interesting price action. Hambone wants to look at Polkadot USD 4-hour and daily. Okay, dot is the symbol DOT USD. All right, dot USD on okay, on Binance as always. Same shit right here. Certainly not as strong. Certainly not as strong. I mean, you know, in general, I just think that you kind of play with shitcoins at your own peril. For better or worse, you know, to the upside, they're usually going to have more gains. To the downside, they're also going to have more losses. So it's hey, it's your money at the end of the day. But you know, same relevant levels right here. Obviously, 200x benchmark average is kind of getting our highs thus far. 24.5 bucks on a wick high. That would be 26 and a quarter. If you can take out those areas, I'd look for it to trade back to 30. But this one's certainly relatively weak. This one is definitely relatively weak to a lot of the other charts that we've looked at today, especially in comparison to Bitcoin thus far too. I mean, this is like. If I was just looking at this chart, I would certainly not like it. But look, if Bitcoin moves up here, this one will too. And again, this is your relevant level to the upside. To the downside, pretty fucking easy. You don't need me to tell you this is going to be about 18 bucks right there. Do we see any sort of short-term bottoming signals? 4-hour. Kind of turning around, certainly not as much as some of the other names that we've seen so far. Not even the 4-hour TSIs there just yet. 4-hour RSI just rejected the bearish control zone, but that's not a very conclusive read. The other ones were significantly more conclusive, actually. Looking at 12-hour, we do see it actually popping up right here, so that'd be kind of a good thing, although it is pretty fucking weak. So again, I think you're going to have an easier time looking at Bitcoin for direction here, and to give the downside its due diligence, that death cross on the 12-hour, I do not like. I do not like at all. So if this one wants to break, if Bitcoin breaks down, you can expect this thing to come down to single digits again. It will come down to single digits if Bitcoin breaks down. But again, I'd look for Bitcoin on direction. You probably want that one in comparison to this one. All things considered, man. Okay, sweet. Any recommended price to open a short? This is not a signal service, and I'm not doing your trades for you, and I also don't even know what the fuck you're trying to trade to begin with. Like, you can open up a short right now and trade for like a $10 move, and I don't know, maybe you're scalping. I don't fucking know what you're trying to do, man. Like, are you trying to hold your short for forever? Well, that's probably not like a good idea just in general, but trying to like hold like a trending short, I think that you can probably figure it out from the first 30 minutes of this video. If you can't, man, I'm not going to be doing your trades for you. I don't say that because like I'm ungrateful for what you've given me. It's mostly because I don't think one, it's appropriate. Two, it's also like considered financial advice, which is kind of illegal. And three, I just don't. I can't even make a good decision for you to begin with, because like, look, when you just say buy or sell right now, it's like, okay, there's a million other things that go into a good fucking trade, and a good trade for me might not necessarily be a good trade for you. Like, you can scalp both long and short, like on all lower term timeframes this whole goddamn way through. Doesn't necessarily mean that, I'm going to be fucking holding the short all the, for the rest of my life. No. So I'd really the reason why I won't give you a straight answer is mostly because, like, if you get into the habit of doing that over time, you're just gonna come under the fucking spell of charlatans who will be, acting as if like they know exactly what's right for you, and they don't. Only you know what's right for you at the end of the day. That would be my main message in this channel, just in general, is like, only you, like quite literally only you. This is not some sort of like fucking self-help motivational bullshit. This is real. This is fucking real right here. Only you can make the best decision for yourself, because only you know yourself the best. Unless if we have like a talk for like fucking a day or something, and then I can understand like your actual strategies, but I'm not going to do that. Sorry. That was a little bit harsh, man. Sorry, man. It's all love, brother. Anyways, James Namelin says, when moon? The moon has been postponed, and we will now be going to the center of the earth. Mr. Tazgov says, hey, Krown, Cardano USD 4-hour daily. All right, let's check it out. Okay, sweet. Well, okay, sweet. Pretty good bounce here. Hey, this one's actually giving the market a little bit of hope. So I'd say in comparison to the other ones, this one would be a little bit more on the side of relatively strong. Again, relatively strong in the context of a mostly down market. Okay, doesn't mean that's great. But what I want to see here is you see one of those obvious potential signals going on. So you see the green 55 and the purple 200. That is going to be a death cross on the 4, and I do actually like this time frame a lot for that cross. Doesn't always work out perfectly, but it works out enough where I put a lot of weight on it. We do have a couple interesting things going on here too. We have a higher low in place, and if we take out this area right here, that is the classic bait and switch that I typically talk about. If you see a move above here, especially a closure above, well, even especially the 200, but even the 55 at like 159.5, I would look for another rally back up to the highs of this range, like 175, and similar to Bitcoin, right around $4,100, or not 41, but $41,000. Above this level right here, I would be looking for extension all the way to $2, $2.50, sorry, not 2.5, but 205. And that's probably where your bull trap comes in if this one wants to trap some unfortunate Anguses here. But for right now, daily technically has potentially a higher low in place. It's not necessarily, it's certainly not conclusive right now. It's still a bit of a Jesus toast here, but give it a chance. I do think that a lot of these things, or at least the market, is looking for a little bit of a snapback here. Because going 50% to the downside, like even in cryptocurrency, like that's pretty fucking significant, man. It's pretty fucking significant here. So looking at the weekly, it's above all major moving averages. I'm not really going to be bearish on that either. And could, if it closes above the 10 simple today and then takes out the high of this trading week, this week that we just saw here, which is about 186. I'd actually be looking for new highs. I'd actually be looking for new highs, but it's not going to happen today. It's potentially going to happen this week if again this condition is met. If that condition is met, actually look pretty good. All right, sweet. Serge. Where's Serge? Can you please check out HBAR BTC weekly? All right, what the fuck? What the fuck is this thing? Oh, dear Lord. Hedera Hashgraph. Man, oh fucking man. It's shitcoin Sunday, I guess. Not a bad chart, though. It is maintaining the uptrend for right now. I'd like to hate this thing, but I don't really hate it right now. I'd love to hate this thing, but I can't right now. Look, I'll give you this because I do think that something more interesting is going on here. Okay, there's a couple good things going on potentially. First things first, the daily right here is pretty much very close to confirming hidden bullish divergence. Here's your last low right here, or yeah, it's right here. Here's your current potential low right here. I would say, you can do this two ways. You can do this the aggressive way or the conservative way. The aggressive way, you've already confirmed a local low. You got a doji dollar right there. You've already traded above it. Boom, hidden bullish divergence is initiated, and you look for a move back up to 690 Satoshis or something. The conservative way, which I would take in this market right now, all things considered, because this market is under pressure, is waiting for a closure above yesterday's high in this case, which would be 622. If that happens, yeah, I'd still be looking for, about 700 Satoshis. Here's the big thing though, the monthly. If the monthly closes anywhere fucking above 650 Satoshis, I'd be bullish on this one, making, at least retesting prior highs and probably trying for new all-time highs, or maybe not new all-time highs, because that's way the fuck back on over here, but at least, at least putting a bit of an extension on this rally. So yeah. All right, let's see. Toby Wan, he's back. Hey, Krown. It looks like Hex tested the top and bull flag is headed north. All right, we got Hex Hexers over here. All right, let's see what Hex got. Again, like this would be something that I'm not fucking bearish on this thing. This is still one of the better charts in cryptocurrency land. This is versus US dollar as well. This one in Matic seemed to have some of the best one. Maybe this one might even be better than Matic right now. Again, I'm not making a comment about the underlying technology on this. I know that a lot of people have a lot of things to say about this. I'm not the person to ask for something like that. As far as charts go, if I'm literally just calling them like I see them, which I have to do because that's the name of the game. You have to be operating in reality. This chart is by and large best chart I've seen today, at least on cryptocurrency, maybe even the best one, over the past couple of weeks. This one maintains its fucking uptrend. It's right around its prior all-time highs. There's nothing fucking bearish about that. Look, this week, if you see this week close anywhere, especially anywhere above like 5 spot, just let's call it like 5 3/4, I'd be looking for this one to retest prior highs and probably make new all-time highs. This is like a good chart. The monthly, there's nothing bearish about that. It does have a massive range. This thing could come down maybe even 3 cents next month, but I mean, it's still maintained its uptrend. Again, I'm just calling the charts like I see them right now. This is a very good chart. It's a very fucking good chart. Even the 4 hour looks like it wants to pop back up, hidden bullish. I burned off that last low, maybe a 6 cent target right there, and leading into the monthly close, or sorry, the weekly close. That would be closing above last week's high. I mean, there's closing on new all-time highs on your fucking weekly is not bearish. So fair enough. Congratulations to the hexers out there, I suppose. Damien says, the other night when you set me straight on buying Matic for a quick buck, you saved me, my Angus, a major loss. Thousands, sir. Amen. My pleasure, sir. Okay, so you're looking at Sol 3 month to 1 year. I actually really want to check out Matic. I wonder if that one's beating Hex today for the best chart. Let's see. Yeah, it is. Okay, so we do have normality still going on in this market, but these are like neck and neck. I mean, these are basically the same chart, man. Wow, fucking powerful, man. Holy shit. This one looks like it wants to retest highs. 2.5. Anyways, you're asking about Sol 3 month to 1 year, please. Do you mean like look at the quarterly and the yearly? I don't think there is a quarterly or yearly for Sol. It hasn't even been around for like a year, so that's going to be difficult. Definitely not relatively strong in this market here. With all the other charts that we've seen, there's definitely been some better ones, but is it trying to put in a base right around the 12 hour 200? Probably, yeah. 27.25 is kind of where the buck stops on this one. Couldn't rally up to $33. Yeah, again, I'd look for Bitcoin on direction here, and I think Bitcoin will do that. But that's just another lower high. Technically speaking, though, we would have a higher low. So perhaps you do have something in place, but there's really nothing to get excited about on this one. Similar to Bitcoin, below 41,000 bucks on this one would be about 36.5. Above there, I'd be on bull trap watch, anywhere around mid $40. But fair enough. For right now, it does show some signals that at least it wants to try a little bit of upside. Let's see what the 4 hour looks like. Pretty weak, but I do think that the market wants to have a little bit of a rally here. Short term, probably like 29.75 or so. Okay, sweet. But again, I can't look at a quarterly for you on this chart because there's like not a quarterly to look at. You got this. I mean, we still got another 31 days left to go on this. So, do we actually have this one around for a year? Oh yeah, we do. We do have a yearly chart. We can look at a yearly chart for you, and it's this. Very unhelpful. Sorry, man. Sorry, sir. Let's see how we're doing over here. Oh, we doing well today. We are doing very well, actually. All right, cool. All right, let's see what else we got. Big credit to Caretaker and Pedro right now for helping me out with this, by the way. Thank you big time, guys. Thank you massively right now, actually. Pedro's actually sending me the chatties, and Caretaker's always taking care, man. Okay. Mr. Tasco says, me again. Hello, you again. Cardano BTC weekly, monthly. Okay. My question to everyone is like, what is the, okay, well, I guess I understand the obsession with Cardano. Its chart actually is pretty good versus Bitcoin parent here. Yeah, this one I'd be looking for a short-term move up to about 45.30, 45.50-ish region. Takes out that high. I'd be looking for a retest of the highs of this run, and this looks very obviously like reaccumulation, motherfucker. Something like this. As long as it rides at 21 here, I do like, it's hard to hate an uptrend, right? Looking at the weekly, pretty good buyback thus far. It tested the macro level. Oh, this one's so obvious. Hold on, let's just delete everything because this one we only need a few areas. All right, boom, macro level. Oh, that's exactly where we base off of. Nice. Highs right here. Boom. Let's go back down to the daily. And what do you fucking know? Let's just put this in right here. Let's just see what this one could potentially look like. Something like this. I'm just curious. I'm just curious. Now, this is obviously not implied right now, but if it does break out basically above the prior high here, would be looking at a targeted move towards about 6,100 Satoshis. Does that line up with the prior all-time high? Yep. Oh my fucking lord. That TA bullshit, that stupid TA geometry. Sometimes it actually works. Well, there's no guarantees on that, but we do see that plenty of it is in place. Now, this obviously comes with a contingency on the downside. Hey, look, if you take out that last higher low right there, you're fucked. You're You're super fucked, actually. Coming all the way down below 3,000 Satoshis again. But give it a chance here. I actually do think that one's okay. Dumb Down Dollars says, you can see full Hex chart at Uniswap Hex version v1. Okay. Do I have to? Let's see. Damn, Pedro is on it right now. It's fucking great. Let's see. Do I want to pull that up? All right, uni fucking derp v1. What the hell am I doing right now? Oh my god, what the fuck? All right, look, man, the other chart was just fine. I don't know what the hell I'm looking at over here. This looks very unhelpful, to be honest with you, as far as charts go. Like this, if I'm looking at the right thing, I'm looking on another screen just in case you're wondering. It's not really helping me out too much, but fair enough. Fair enough. I'll just leave it at that. Mr. Josh says it's so hard not trading anything below the daily, but a lot less stressful. Yeah, man, it really is. I mean, of course it's hard because you don't really get too many, signals, and that's the way that it's that's the way it's designed, man. So I was doing something similar to you, Josh, on the last run up for the past like 6 months. Where it's just like, all right, I'll take like daily signals, maybe 12-hour signals sometimes, but how many of those do you get? I don't know, a few over, a few over a couple months. Thoughts on just trading on daily or above as main strategy? Completely valid. You're naturally going to have potentially more profits with your positions and potentially, more risk on them too. But that's the trade-off essentially. Now with the reason why I like dailies, just in general, is that's how a lot of money managers are kind of looking at things to begin with. But more importantly, with the daily, yes, those signals don't come as often, but typically when you get a signal on a daily compared to say a signal on a 5-minute, it's going to be one, more powerful, and two, typically more efficacious. So I'd actually suggest maybe backtesting a little bit in case you want some more information yourself. But I can assure you throughout my own experience and my own testing that a daily compared to a 4-hour even is going to have a much higher hit rate. And a much higher hit rate could even just be as little as 5%. But you have to realize 5% by also multiplied by the potential extra profits too, and multiplied over time, because you're not just taking one trade, you're taking multiple trades over perhaps decades, because you can do this fucking forever. That adds up. I mean, even if you're trading, low-term timeframes, you're taking multiple trades a day or dozens of trades a day, and you even increase your hit rate by 1%. I mean, that adds up that's millions of dollars over years. That's millions of fucking dollars. I mean, it's insane. But people don't think this way. People think in terms of moon or doom. It's like it either goes in a straight line up from here to like $250,000, and then I can finally pay my rent, or it goes down and I can finally, I don't know, I can finally fist myself without feeling bad about it. It's like, Jesus Christ. At the end of the day, man, the best hedge against a market like this is, knowing how to trade. and Josh actually does know how to trade, which is cool. Anyways, I think I want to kind of check. I kind of want to look at your baby VET. I'm just curious what it's doing, because this one, I never know what to think about this one, honestly. It's kind of doing what the rest of the market is doing. Definitely not relatively strong nor relatively weak. Maybe a potential reversal in right here if this does close as an inverted hammer and then we take out the high of it. Where's our last low? Because we're going to inevitably have hidden bullish divergence on this, because where's our last low? I mean, fucking hell, man. Where's our last low? Like, this isn't a low. That's not really a low either. I mean, you might say that this one's an aggressive low, but even that would be still a higher low compared to what we're doing right here. So this one will have hidden bullish divergence, even on even on another 50% drop. Oh God. Realistically, I'd say your last higher low is way over here at about 1 cent. Currently at a 10x from that level. Oh my God. That's on a weekly, however. Daily, same areas right here. 13.5 cent short term. And I'd be looking at daily close above there, and I'd be looking at a move back up probably somewhere around here, somewhere in this pocket right here. Let's get rid of this one too, only relevant for wick traders. And this level over here, maybe tries a base at the 200 as well, like 7.5 cent. Does want to test some more downside, but again, Bitcoin's just easier to watch on direction in my opinion. Oh my God, man. Oh my fucking Lord. Hey, what's up, crypto? Definitely hunkered down for the long term for sideways action. Yeah, man. Again, it's like Bitcoin took 3 to 4 months to distribute on the top. Do you think that this is just going to be done in 2 weeks? Fuck no. I mean, it's not even 2 weeks right now. It's like 1 week. I mean, this was February? Okay, late February to early May. So basically March, April, May, about 3 months. I'd say 3 to 3.5 months. Is that going to be resolved in just 2 weeks? No, fuck no, man. So again, it is pressure onto the downside here. It is certainly pressure onto the downside. But if Bitcoin can't confirm a higher low right here, just barely, but if it can, then you will have hidden bullish divergence compared with this low right here, and that's going to give targets, deep $40,000 region. Again, that's bull trap territory, but at least you get a little bit of life if and when that does happen. All right, Brian Davis says, nah, Sandman, some people just have discipline early on. That would be fair. I must be reading inside of one of these conversations. Let's see what they're talking about. Let's see what they're talking. What do you guys talk? I want to know. People should not be allowed to invest until they are 40 years old. Okay, so you're making you're having a conversation about like discipline. No, I think you should. I mean, like, age does not imply maturity. In fact, I've seen many people who are 40 plus who are completely emotionally not mature, and I've seen many people who are, you know, in their early to mid 20s who are very emotionally mature. I don't think it has anything to do with age. I think it has to do with experience. So, you know, this is why it's really important when you're younger, especially in your like 20s, like go and travel the world. Like go and travel the fucking world at that point, you know, learn what it's like to be in another country, learn what it's like to be on your own, learn what it's like to, you know, be in control of every facet in your life rather than, you know, doing the fucking, like, I'm going to say something right now and just hear me out on it first. I'm not saying that you shouldn't go to fucking college, but look, a lot of people go to college because they don't have anything better to be doing. And, you know, it's not a bad thing to be doing, obviously, but you know, what happens in college? College is basically like a glorified summer camp, at least in my experience. Yeah, I understand that if you do like, like a real degree, if you basically do something in like the sciences, basically if you're trying to do something that you can't learn from the internet, like you actually need someone else, then probably then yeah, you go to college. But other than that, man, to me, that's just like, you know, it just bakes in more emotional immaturity as well. What are you doing there? I mean, it's very fucking safe. I mean, especially nowadays with safe spaces and shit like that too. I went to University of Oregon, so it's like it's like the tippy top of the social justice warrior pyramid, and it's, you know, it's hilarious, right? It's fucking hilarious. But you know, in general, man, I think that going to college actually massively retarded my progress in life. To be quite honest with anyone here, the only thing that I really got from college was I took a stats course that was good that I use, and a philosophy course that was also good. Both of those I could have probably learned on my own, and also learned some social skills too, because I am probably autistic, and I didn't really have much from high school. So you know, that was basically it for me. Other than that, man, it was mostly just fucking wasting time. I mean, Jesus Christ, like sociology classes, what the fuck? What the fuck was that? What the fuck was I thinking, man? What the fuck was I thinking there? You know, even took classes in business. But look, if you're trying to learn business, what do you think is going to be more relevant? Learning from someone who literally has never run a business in their life, telling you about the 4 P's of business, like product placement, pussy, and pussy, Peter Pan. It's like, I don't fucking know, man, but I can tell you this, man, you know, now that I actually run a business, I guess, which is kind of like a weird thing, none of that was helpful. Fucking none of that. The only thing that was helpful was understanding statistics, honestly. That was probably the most relevant class. I even took classes in calculus as well, and honestly, I mean, look, I was an options market maker. I barely even, like, could you have understood the calculus involved with options without going to a calculus class for a couple of years? Yeah. No problem, man. The fucking computer does your deltas for you anyways, so you just have to understand what it means, and that's just like that's basically like 2 sentences in a book. So there you go, man. At the end of the day, I think it's a monstrosity. Again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't go. It's definitely better than doing nothing. You know, if you don't have any plans, then definitely. But as always, you know, direct experience in whatever you want to do is going to be more relevant, of course. What's up, Scott? Scott says B5 percentage fill to do ascending triangle break. All right, let's see it. Well, we're assuming that it actually breaks. So with the way that Bitcoin's looking, I wouldn't fucking hold my breath on this one. Did we test the bottom of the triangle once again? Probably yes. B5. There you are. Oh no, we're pretty close to it. I think it probably tries a little bit lower at like 413 or so. Probably tries to bounce there. But look, Scott, if this thing takes out your last high or low, this thing's fucked. So I honestly don't like this thing, and whatever Bitcoin does, this thing will mirror. So if Bitcoin breaks down, you can expect this thing to come down $2.50, probably even more over time. But for right now, it still holds in there. It's still accumulation, I suppose. And I do like that volatility is coming very low, or starting to come down a little more significantly here. If that can actually start to like really get into the single digits while this one actually still holds the uptrend, at that point I'd start to say, okay, this one very likely does try like some actual upside. But for right now, like percentage left to fill this, let's see. I mean, where's the apex of this? It's going to be a little bit further away still. It's going to be in late July, early August, it looks like. So somewhere right around here, like mid to late June. Yeah, like mid to late June is kind of where I'd be looking for if this one actually does want to break. But right now, I mean, this one looks heavy, and whatever Bitcoin does, this thing will aggressively follow, I imagine. But does it lead it? No, I don't think so. I don't think that this one leads. I think it's just a follower. We can look at Mara. Yeah, we can look at Mara, another Bitcoin miner right here. I think it is at least. How are we doing on time? Yeah, we're okay on time. We're okay on time. Looks to me like it wants to come down here. I'd be looking for another swipe of like $22. This one does not look as healthy as Bitfarms or whatever we just looked at. Obviously broke this one right here, which is kind of what Bitfarms was doing. This one kind of ranging on the lows. I'm usually not a big fan of that, but similar to Bitcoin, between $41,000 and $32,000 to the downside. I do think this one probably comes down and tests around your bottom side region again. But ultimately, if it takes out last week high, which is 2702, I'd be looking for this one to put in a rally, probably up to a little bit north of $30. But again, it really depends whatever Bitcoin does. But we are seeing some good short-term bottoming signals here. So while I do think that it comes down a little bit, to open up next week, I'd be looking for bounces and probably does try some upside. Let's see. Chris says, can you take a look at AG? Sure, man. No time frames given and no base pair given. I'm guessing, are you looking at crypto or stocks? Okay, it's definitely going to be a stock. Great. Oh, nice. We got some real shit over here. Good. Very good, actually. Hey, we got a good chart. We got a good chart, baby. We got a good fucking chart over here. I'd be looking for this one to rally up ultimately towards about $20. And long term, is this continuation? Long term, it's a macro reversal, actually, or it's continuation of a macro reversal. So we got higher lows over here, breaking above your accumulation region right here. Yeah, I like it. Golden cross on the weekly. All major moving averages are bullish. Long term, I like it. In fact, long term, I think it probably even, maybe for the next like year or so, probably tests around prior highs. 25.5, $26 or so. Looks good. What's up, Josh? Another issue I'm running into is oversizing my positions. Yeah. The funny thing about sizing your positions, it's always you never size enough when it's going your way, and you always oversize when it's not going your way. It always feels like that, man. It's been working so far, but until it doesn't, but I don't want to burn myself. Advice. Okay, so it's okay. So because I know you, Josh, I can give a little bit more directed, directed comment here. So only because I know you, because I fear that someone else is going to ask this, and I'm like, I don't fucking know what's right for you, but. In this case, okay, I know Josh is like, he's actually a pretty damn good trader and knows what he's doing and pretty damn emotionally mature. Anyways, but your issue is, and the big thing about this is that you're already aware of this, which is like really the whole thing of it. You're already aware of it. You even just making this comment in general shows that you are aware, and that's the biggest thing. So, what do you do? Well. What I do, or what people don't understand about trading and kind of using your equity for trading, is as your equity goes up, the percentage that you put on per trade goes down. You want that to be happening. So, your position sizing, if it is oversized, and that just means the percentage in comparison to your total trading equity has gone up a little bit too much. If that's the case, you know what to do. For myself, I really don't like going over 5%. In fact, I don't ever go over 5%. There's no real reason to. And preferably like 2 to 3% is kind of like the sweet spot in my opinion. I mean, it's kind of hard to go broke when when you're doing smaller like that. But again, the fact is you're already aware of this, man. So what I would say is, take your stack, which I happen to have a probably a good idea of what it is. And I would say, look, man, you can probably trade. Look, you can maybe have like 10% in your trading equity. You can probably use a little bit of leverage on it. I wouldn't go overboard with that. Like 3 to 5x is probably more than enough, honestly. I mean, shit, even just 2 to 3x is probably fine for you. And just take it easy, man. Like, you've had a lot of gains. You've had a lot of fucking gains. Now your job is to protect your gains. Your job is to protect your gains because, well, the worst thing about gains is letting them turn into losses, my friend. So I would err on the side of caution. Like, you have to think of yourself as, before you were piloting like a small little dinghy, and you're being a little more aggressive, a little more cavalier with your finances, which was fine. You had some really great entries, you had some really great trades, but now you have like a massive fucking battleship, because I've been watching this World War II documentary recently, so these fucking battleships look so sick. Anyways, you have this massive battleship now, and you got to be very careful with the way that you steer it, and you don't want to over indulge yourself, because now you actually have something that you could fuck up. And so I'd say take your trading stack, maybe have like 5 to 10% of your equity in your actual trading account. And then you can trade that, and you have plenty, man. So you're gonna be fine. That's what I'd say about that. But yeah, man, I've been watching this World War II documentary. It's fucking great, man. It's so crazy too. Like, holy shit. First off, British people out there, British people, you guys are amazing. Holy fuck. How did you guys hold off the Nazis in the Battle of Berlin? I don't know. It's fucking insane, man. Oh, we're so weak nowadays. We're so fucking weak compared to these people. It's pathetic. We're so pathetic, man. Oh my God. Could you just imagine if we actually had a real war and we had to send all of our mid, like early 20s and late teens kids up in the skies to scramble and take on people who are trying to bomb your fucking house? Dear fucking Lord, man. We're so lucky, but we're so weak, and we're probably going to pay the price for it at some time too. Sucks, man. Really, really sucks. By the way, a lot of things in World War II, leading up to Nazi Germany kind of taking over, very similar there. I mean, they actually had both the left, like the extremely far left and the extremely far right. It's very similar to America right now. The extremely far left and the extremely far right were like openly fighting against each other in the fucking streets. It was like common to see fights against each other in Nazi Germany around that time. Kind of similar to the way that you see these gangs now. It's like, you got BLM versus MAGA, basically. It's like, how about neither of you guys? how about none? How about fucking none? And believe me, I definitely support like actual Black Lives Matter, but as an organization, that's a different thing, man. And for the MAGA thing, like there's definitely some support, some things I support there too, but all of it, no, probably not. And that's what any reasonable person probably thinks anyways, man. If you fully 100% agree with everything that someone else says, even if it's in the context of me talking about trading, you're not fucking thinking for yourself. And that's a bigger issue than anything else, man. But yeah, you got to watch this World War II documentary. It's fucking great. It's on Netflix. It's in color too. And holy shit. By the way, Americans, oh my God, Americans in World War II. Wow, we really fucked up at the beginning of that one. I love how in history class I always learned about how great America was when the war, but we were so incompetent. We were so fucking incompetent at the beginning. We made every fucking mistake possible in Pearl Harbor, every fucking mistake possible. Just embarrassing, man. But then again, I wasn't there, and I probably would have made every mistake possible too. So fair enough. All right, sweet. I am getting way off track here. Let's see. It's true, Krown. My grandfather lied about his age to march up to Normandy. All the men did back then. Yeah. Think about what balls it would take to do that, man. Like that's not. We're so far removed from that nowadays. We're so fucking far removed from that. And, for better or worse, I mean, obviously I'd rather prefer no war than war, but, there definitely was, there's definitely some good things about hard times. Like, what's the saying? It's like, hard times create strong men create good times create weak men create bad times or hard times. Right. And that's and that kind of feels what's happening right now. Similar to like early, like right before the Great Depression, everything was like extremely fucking opulent. Everyone was spending up and living like well above their means, kind of similar to right now. And what happens after that? Well, this time it's different. All right, sweet. All right, let's see. Krown, Trump supporters confirmed. No, I'm not a Trump supporter, nor am I a Biden supporter. I don't really fall into either of the two gangs. They're both fucking gangs, man, and they're both completely. I think I very rarely agree with all the things that both of them say. Yeah, weak men create bad times. There you go. This time is always different. That's right, man. That's why Bitcoin is definitely going to the moon this time too. Trump 2024. Is he still going to be alive around that, man? Like, you can't think of someone better though. Like, look, man, like he definitely had some good ideas for sure. Like, you can't discount that, but you can't think of someone better. We have 350 fucking million people in America. How come we always come up with like Clintons, Obamas, Bidens, and Bushes? Like, why? It's all the same fucking people. Look, America started to get away from the monarchy ruling in England, right? Like, kind of the gist of it. And then what happens when we're given the choice? When we're given the choice to vote for our own leaders, what do? We vote for fucking Bushes, we vote for Clintons, we vote for Trumps, and we vote for Obama. And people are talking about like voting for Michelle Obama or something. It's like we impose our own monarchies now. We impose our own fucking monarchies on ourselves when given the fucking choice. Out of 350 goddamn million people in a single fucking country, somehow the same families keep on becoming presidents. How the fuck does that happen? I don't know. Damien says, back to your channel, please. Cancel culture is real. Yeah, man. Yeah, but also, I don't know, man. If the channel get canceled, I'll just become a full-time gamer. That's my plan, man. That's my plan. Hey, welcome to the cave, Mr. Chowdhury. They are distant cousins. Yeah, you could say that. That's why I love crypto. No one gives a damn about presidents. Well, I mean, it's also an international space too. So, you know, I think most of the world doesn't give a fuck about what America's doing. Like, man, it was very eye-opening when I started to live in Europe a little bit more, because, you know, in America we're told that like basically the world revolves around us, and you know we won the world wars and everything, and we actually didn't really do all that much. I mean, we definitely did a lot, but we haven't really done that much, and most of the world does not give a fuck about what America does actually. Just in general, except for the markets, But now, you know, you look at China, and they're definitely starting to take over a little bit too. Where is my $6 trillion stimulus check? I will contact the Biden administration with your request, sir. Hey, what's up, Nick? Welcome to the cave as well, my friend. Yeah, gaming streams are where it's at, man. We only care about dead presidents. I mean, we always kind of like glorify them after death, but you know, you start to look in some of the history, and you know, just like anyone, they have really good things about them, and sometimes some pretty bad things too. It is what it is, man. No one's perfect. No one's completely good or completely bad. It's gray areas. I mean, shit, man. You even look at like Winston Churchill in World War II, and like that guy said some really fucked up shit at some points. Like, goddamn, like again, legendary guy, but at the same time, damn. Crazy. Nah, dead presidents. I mean, they're great. They're great rap group. Dead presidents, great rap group. Let's see. Damien says my boomer doomer Angus needs these vids though. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. I mean, if you want the boom, the moon or doom. Honestly, man, like there's plenty of other channels out there that'll tell you that Bitcoin's always going up or always going down. But the reality of the things is Bitcoin's going to be boring here. And you probably want Bitcoin to be boring more than anything. Look at Cardano. We've already looked at Cardano. It actually looks okay. Every president is trash. Well, no, I wouldn't say that. I also wouldn't like completely judge them like that. Like before, you know, actually trying to do it myself, which I would never fucking do. But it's an impossible job, man. It's an impossible job. Braden Estes says, hey, Krown, what's up, man? Thoughts on buying options on Mara to cover Bitcoin positions? Trends are correlated, but they don't move the same percentage, which makes it hard. Look, my question to you would be is, could you do that? Could you make it work? You could, or you could just do options on Bitcoin, assuming that you're not American and you can, you know, make use of like Deribit, for example. If you can do that, it would make a lot more sense to go like direct than not when given the choice. So that would be my comment on that. Unless if there's like a legitimate reason why you want to do Mara. You know, I think that you're just kind of making your job harder on yourself than it needs to be. It's like, look, if you want to trade Bitcoin, trade fucking Bitcoin. If you want to trade Mara. But I, personally speaking, like to trade just one. I know that like the whole thing nowadays is you want to bait away your bullshit. It's like, look, that works, but it works until it doesn't, in my experience, man. I've seen a lot of people blow out their accounts trying to do that shit, and it's like, it sounds good on paper, and a lot of people fall into that, and it will work on paper, like, or it will work like 90% of the time, but it only takes one 10 sigma event for you to just completely wash out. Hey, what's up, Alex? Hey, appreciate that, man. Think about Red Dill Polkadot. Yeah, we looked at Polkadot earlier. We can check it out again. I don't remember which time frames we looked at on. I think it's trying to put in a base right around about $18 or so. I think it's going to try to rally with Bitcoin, maybe back up to like, you know, 23.5, maybe $24. But the big area is right here, either a daily closure above about 24.75 or a wick higher than the 20th of May at 26.25. If one of those two things happens, I'd extend the rally all the way up to like, you know, 29.5 to $30 or so. But this one is definitely relatively weak within the context of this market right now. I'm not a big fan of this chart in and of itself. If I was just looking at this, I'd probably be bearish, just in general. Philmore says, there's a 3 turtle book or something like that about how boring trading is when you do it well. Yeah. Should I read that? Well, I haven't read it myself, so I can't like directly say that I'd recommend it or not, but I can assure you that as someone who is a professional trader, you do want trading to be more or less boring, or at least that shows that you're in the right emotional sort of state to be taken on trading. Because when do you come into boredom? Like, why does boredom happen? Boredom happens when you are not being, you know, directly challenged in your current, in your current line of work or whatever the fuck you're trying to do. And when you're not being challenged, you naturally go into boredom and you start to seek other things. Anyways, why do you come into boredom within trading? Well, or at least what would be the right way to be coming into trading from that perspective? Well, once you understand that this is a statistical game based off of probabilities, mediated by your indicators or whatever source of edge that you're using, that you understand that over time, you're naturally going to have a some odd chance of winning a trade and a some odd chance of losing a trade. And because you've very likely backtested your strategy, at least I hope so, you know, if you haven't backtested your strategy, if you don't have a fucking strategy, this does not apply. It only applies to people who have that in line. But if you have that in line, then you know that, hey, well, my strategy has a 69% chance of winning. Why would I get excited about a win? You know that inevitably you're going to have a 31% chance to lose, and you can pretty much, you know, get around your expected value over time anyways. So like, do you get excited about that? It would be the same thing about like getting excited about winning a coin toss, but you have to do the coin toss 100 times, and you know that it's very likely you're just going to come out 50-50 anyways. So my point is that you come into boredom because you just understand that, you know, those are kind of like baked in, and yeah, things do change from time to time, obviously, and you know, you make adjustments for that. But in general, that's why you should be bored, or at least it's a good thing if you are feeling bored when trading. You should be bored. You don't want to be emotional. You don't want to be excited about your wins, and you don't want to be pissed off about your losses, because the only thing that emotions can do within the context of that is they can only lead you astray from what you should be doing. Because following your strategy, that's easy enough to do. You can follow your strategy whether you're happy or sad. But when you are happy or sad, you probably notice yourself falling into other, you know, unhelpful thought patterns, which just make you stray away from your strategy. And once you stray away from your strategy, that's when you can no longer be reliant on those numbers. That's when you've really fucked up, and you're no longer bored because you're getting excited about your shit, and you're getting demoralized by, you know, by losing as well. I mean, everyone always talks about, you know, to the downside with losing, right? Like that makes sense. That, you know, that's obvious. Like people say, I don't care about losses. It's like, okay, yeah, you like technically you're right. Again, assuming that you have all the other things in place, like it should be baked in. But you need to be on the other side as well. It's like you can't get excited about your gains. The second that you start to, you know, give into your emotions, which you're gonna always in some way feel your emotions on some level, but you know, whether you give into them or not is your responsibility, and which I always come back to on this channel. It's like that is your responsibility as a trader. If you can do that, then you'll more or less be fine, and you will be bored. Like I am bored when I trade. Like, yeah, it's cool to see the money, but at the end of the day, it's like once you've seen something 100 fucking times, you're not really gonna see anything too crazy outside of that. Yes, weird situations do happen, no doubt about that. But at the end of the day, man, it's just game of statistics and probabilities. That's all that it is. Nothing more, nothing less. There's nothing fucking glorious about this. There's nothing heroic about this. There's nothing like special about this. It's just a game of statistics and probabilities. And the people who are the best traders, in my experience, know that in their hearts. They fucking know that, and they're very, very calm people in general, and they get their emotional expressions out in other ways. They typically express their emotions in terms of, like, I don't know, maybe they play sport, or they go to the gym, or they're passionate about some other side project or something, but they don't let that enter into, or at least they don't express it in their trading, because they know that that only gets them away from what actually works. Cool. All right, let's see. Josh says, I don't use options in my strategy at all, just straight spot. Is this a mistake? Okay, so you got the program, but haven't wrapped. Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. Do you need options in order to trade? No. Do options give you more variability in how you trade? Yeah, absolutely. Would I be as good of a trader without options? Fuck no. Fuck no. In fact, I used to think that I wouldn't be able to trade without options at all, but I actually have tested myself in that regard, and I can do it. Not as great, but you know, options kind of allow you to be wrong on direction and still make money, is the way that I look at it. And also options during times like this, when things are more or less ranging, you can make money from things more or less staying within a range. So let's say I sell like the 30,000, 42,000 strikes straddle, and I don't know, it's probably going for like a couple $1,000 right now. Let's just say that you know, expires every week. All right, so you do that 10 times, you make $10,000 a week. You know, that's what I like to get paid to do nothing. I'd prefer to get paid to do nothing. And this is the time really to be doing it as well. Like when you see volatility hit regions like this, you know a range is coming, regardless whether you're bullish or bearish. And in that range, you can probably find a nice straddle, at least in the way that I like to do it. And if you need to cover yourself, you do. Maybe you cover it off. It's completely, you can definitely do that. Just buy yourself some spot against yourself. But anyways, going back to your question, is it a mistake? It's only a mistake if it's only a mistake. Well, it's not a mistake for you, man, because you're so fucking successful at this point that like it doesn't matter. You should do whatever you feel happy with doing. Now, I don't know if you have a job outside of this. I don't know. I've actually never asked you that, come to think of it. But if you do, then probably not, because learning options is going to be like, it took me a long time to do that. And I imagine that for a lot of people, it takes significantly longer than learning like just straight up fucking spot trading, you know, or just TA in general. Options, you know, has a steeper learning curve, but more payoff in general. But do you have to? No, I mean, you've had plenty of success without it, man. So it's more of a question of, do you want to do it or not? It's a good tool to have in the back of your tool book, of course, yes. But that's completely up to you, man. That's completely up to you. All right. Let's see. Got that one. We got that one. All right, we got Cyrus King. He says, "Sir, took your advice. I don't have advice, man, and started a new trading journal." Hey, there we go. Okay, that's actually good advice. Would you mind taking a look at it? I'm here for the life wisdom, stream twice a day, or dot me. I mean, I have like a lot of things to do in the day, so if you want me to look at it, it could be a little bit encumbersome, to be honest with you. I don't want to sound ungrateful for your thanks. But you know, if I start doing that for you, I'm gonna have to do it for everyone, and I don't have the time to do that, man. But what I can say to you is, look, you don't need me to look at it. What you need to do, more importantly, and this is gonna be good for you as well, because like you want to be in control of your own things, because you don't want to have to fucking rely on Krown. You want to be ultimately reliant on yourself. What you should do now is you should put it to the test. Put it to the test either on a paper account or a demo account. Don't put any real money at risk. See if it works out. If you can make 20 to 30 iterations go and, you know, it's to your liking, hey, put a little bit of money towards it perhaps, or at least consider it. And then you can move it up and up over time as you get more and more data that suggests that you are, you know, heading in the direction that you want. In that way, you don't need me at all, man. You quite literally have created your own plan. You backtest your own plan, and you know your own plan, but like the back of your fucking hand, and you know how to manipulate what things need to be manipulated. But basically, if you filled out the trade checklist and the trade, basically like the trade strategy list on a video that I uploaded like, it must be like 2 or 3 months ago now. If you've done that, you've pretty much done exactly what I would, you know, suggest. It's just the main things are you need to be very specific with it, and then you need to actually, you know, follow it. Okay, sweet. Sweet. Thomas A says, "Hey, Krown, wondering if you could look at." Oh, nice. We got another real stock. All right, SENS. SENS. Okay, Sensionics. All right. Don't know what this is. Look at it on a daily. This is a 2-day, but. Daily looks like it's trying to put in a low right now. I think that it does grind out this current low structure maybe one more time down to like 1 3/4 or so. But what does our long term look like? Oh, long term is okay. We do have a macro reversal going on here. I mean, this is a change of behavior right here, no doubt about that. I need to take a sip of this water though, man. My throat is killing me right now. Oh, all right, there we go. I think we got another 10 to 15 minutes here. Anyways, looking at this right here, I think that it grinds out the current lows of this range a little bit more, somewhere down around the 200, like I said, about 1 3/4 or so, as long as it does not break below there on a daily closure, just wherever this level is right here. Yeah, 170, we'll say. I'd actually be looking for it to give another try to the upside. I do like the macro reversal here. Daily though, yeah, daily, I do favor the upside overall. So the question to me is, do we get another move down here or not? And I'm happy to be bullish on this one as long as it's about 170-ish region. Damien says, ooh, got a burp coming up. Can you explain Wyckoff accumulation spring period to us, please? Spring number 1 or terminal shakeout. Also starting TA here. Which time periods first? Okay, if you're starting technical analysis, what time periods do you focus on first? Okay, first let's set a little bit of groundwork. All right, first, we're coming at this with the idea that you are not trading actual money. You are trading a demo account or a paper account in some way. So you're not risking any money. I would honestly trade whatever time frame that you think that you can be most adherent to. Now, with that said, backwards engineer. Do you have a day job? Do you have a 9 to 5? If you do, you probably don't want to be trading the fucking 5-minute because you can't be at your screens all fucking day. Maybe you trade a 4-hour at the lowest, and maybe a 12-hour or a daily is going to be a little bit more, easy to manage. Now, if you are just starting, I do think that it actually is pretty useful to actually trade some extremely low time frames, specifically in Forex, actually. I'm talking about like a 5, 10, 15 minute, 30 minute, hourly, that kind of shit. And I do think it actually works really, really well in Forex, which trades very technically. Now, why do I say that? The reason why I say that is because you can get in a lot of iterations very, very quickly. If you're trading a 4 hour, or even, let's just say like a 12-hour daily, you're not going to get too many signals like within a week, right? You might not even get any signals within a week. You know, you could be getting like a few signals a month if it's a slow month. So my point is that you want to first backwards engineer what you actually want to be doing ultimately, and then you want to get your repetitions on the lower term time frame so you can kind of see how your strategy would work. Now, of course, on lower term timeframes, keep in mind that strategies will typically have lower hit rates in comparison to higher term timeframe strategies, assuming that it's even a workable strategy to begin with, which we don't fucking know. If you're just beginning, it's probably not going to beat. No offense, but you just don't know any better at that. You know, at that point, that's what the whole kind of bang your head against a wall period is all about. But that's what I'd say about that. You know, it depends what kind of life ideally are you going for, right? Like, are you trying to do this like as a day trader, making multiple trades a day? Maybe you don't want to do that. I don't know. Maybe that just doesn't sound very appealing. I know for a lot of people it doesn't. In fact, for the past 6 months, I wasn't doing that at all. So, you know, it completely depends on what you want to do. Backwards engineer, then go from there. As far as Wyckoff accumulation, spring period. Okay, so, well, we've spoken about this a million goddamn times. Look, people always get the fucking spring wrong. I really, oh man, it gives me a fucking headache. The spring is mostly just like a failed continuation move. It can come on new lows as you see it in the schematic right here. It doesn't need to. It can come on the same lows. It can come on at slightly higher lows as well. The idea is you want to see a low volatility swing around your current low structure, and you want to see it chop around there a little bit and ultimately work its way out with a confirmed higher low and higher high around the lower portion of the accumulation range. So for Bitcoin terms, or in Bitcoin terms, where that look like, we might not even have it just yet. I would say it starts to look a little bit better above about 37.5, and then fully confirmed on the actual move. Whoops, this one over here, above the range highs, which is not anytime soon. That's why I put a lot of significance around $41,000. And then if you want to go by the book, you'd actually even say about 42 and a half or so. But ultimately, I do think Bitcoin's actually trying right here. I think it's going to get a little bit even short-term continuation at the very least towards 36.3 or so. Could this be the actual the low? I don't know. It could be possible. Starting. Okay. I think we are getting towards the end of this right now. I got what time is it? You got 15 minutes left, so I probably should actually wrap this one up. I think that's gonna do it for right now, fellas. I think I got all my thoughts out on Bitcoin and the greater markets for the first 30 to 40 minutes of this video. Hopefully that is in some way useful to you. For the people who are interested, we do have the sale going on right now, 20% off of all programs over here. As always, make sure that you watch the videos that accompany them, because they're gonna explain, if it's even relevant for you or not. And realistically, like if I can just disqualify probably 90% of people right off the bat, that would be a job well done for myself. And realistically, you need to have a shit ton of time in order to make these work. I mean, I'm talking about the TA program's 40 to 50 hours at this point. The options program is like 35 to 40 hours as well. So it's going to take a lot of time investment. It's not a fucking magic pill. You're probably going to take, if you're even going to be successful to begin with, which most people are, I can't say that most people are not. Actually, most people do have a pretty damn good experience. Although some people, it's definitely not a magic pill. A lot of people do not, I would say. It's still going to take like a year to a year and a half on average. And like I say, a lot of people don't even get there. So it does take a shit ton of effort. It's not a fucking magic pill. And, but it is there for you if you are so inclined. Obviously, all the other indicators and whatnot are discounted as well. So I'll just leave that right there. Again, watch the videos before you ever consider putting any money towards that. And I will be signing off now. I want to wish everyone well and wish everyone the best of the best. And we'll be back on tomorrow at the same time, same place. With that said, take care and see you hopefully soon.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, XR, pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it, test it, build it, try it, bend it, fork it, hype it, pump it, dump it, rinse, repeat, but quick relocate. Pause it, list it, send it, burn it, pump it, hack it, quick rename it, take it, take it, lend it, send it, swell it, sell it, flip, unflip it, see it, watch it, learn it, know it, post it, tweet it, and repeat it, chart it, long it, short it, hedge it, post prediction, quick erase it, watch it, leave it, watch it, leave it, check it, click it, and refresh it, find it, drop it, crack it, lose it, curse it, pay it, to it, pay it, bar it, chart it, hide it, fight it, deal it, seal it, and unlock it, claim it, post it,